Will that slide in sentiment and dismal poll numbers force Congress to reach a bipartisan agreement before another debt debacle early next year? We've got Josh Boak, Washington Deputy Bureau Chief at the Fiscal Times, and Andy Friedman, Principal at the Washington Update. Wonderful to have both of you here. Let me get your reaction to the story Steve just reported, a possible hold on the nomination of Janet Yellen. Do you see that as likely? I don't know the parliamentary maneuvering that could go on here. He's saying, I want to vote on a bill that I've submitted. Why don't they give him the vote? The bill will lose.
Well, they might do that. I mean, that's possible. He's not. I agree with Josh. He's not going to be able to stop this coming to the floor. I think the markets want Yellen. I don't think anybody's going to object to that. But what he might end up doing is some sort of filibuster like he did on drones. Maybe that gets by, and then we just go ahead with the vote. So I'm not sure it means that much.
Let's transition to a discussion, Josh and Andy, on the next deadlines that come up. What is your view about the likelihood that we are going to, sometime in January or February, repeat the exercise we just went through, maybe minus some of the discussion of Obamacare, because Obamacare seems to be taking care of itself very nicely, by the way.
Right, and then, good point. Well, let's take it a step at a time. I think the committee is going to try to come up with some sort of bipartisan solution. It will be a small deal, a deal that tries to restore faith in government. On balance, can they do that? I think it's very hard, unless the president says, I'll give up on any tax increases. But they're going to try. If that doesn't happen, then on January 15th, Congress can either shut down the government or accept the next deal on sequestration, the next sequestration cuts. I believe they'll accept the sequestration cuts rather than shut down the government again. So one way or another, we get the government open. Then we have February 7th, when the debt ceiling is going to have to go up sometime after that. That's where the real rubber hits the road. And I could see later next year another fight over the debt ceiling. I think we're going to keep the government open one way or another, but the debt ceiling's an issue. I do think there's a basis for compromise to at least bring up, and that is to go to a slower rate of growth of than the consumer price index for Social Security.
Social Security adjustments.
Close some tax loopholes that both sides have accepted. So they could do it, but it's going to be hard. In any event, we're not going to shut down the government, and we're not going to default on the debt, but that will be the next issue later in the year.
All right, Andy, thanks very much.